Hello viewers from wherever you're watching us from. You're watching QTV, the Gambia's first private TV station, and we are broadcasting live from our studios here on Kairaba Avenue. Apologies for starting this program late. Well, this week I'm joined on the program by the Minister of Tourism and Culture, formerly Minister of Petroleum and Energy, Abdullah Job. His tenure at the Energy Ministry coincided with the controversial Russian oil import policy, a parliamentary inquiry, and a rejected recommendation for censure. We will examine accountability, performance, and his current role as the Minister of Tourism. For men who have worked under him, he's a reformer. But for others, think otherwise following the Russian oil scandal. Honorable, thank you so much for coming on the State of Affairs program.
Thank you very much, Aliu, for having me, and good evening to you and your viewers. It is indeed an honor to be here to participate in this State of Affairs program today.
Minister, to start with, the joint FPAC-PEC Committee of the National Assembly recommended your censure over the 30 million Russia oil re-export policy. They cited what they call lack of due process and abuse of authority. Do you accept responsibility?
Thank you very much. This is something which is quite amazing, and this is the first time I'm talking about it. But my question is always, what is this scandal? Who owns the product that the National Assembly was talking about? The National Assembly had a motion, and the motion was brought by Honorable Seni Jawara
of Lower Salum.
Of Lower Salum. But what was the conclusion of the National Assembly Committee? The committee stated that the Joint Committee, having conducted an exhaustive inquiry pursuant to its mandate, finds that the matter under investigation, i.e. the allegation of bribery, money laundering, and tax evasion by Apogee FC, Creed Energy Limited, an ultimate-based logistic on the sale of petroleum product worth 36,953.614 metric ton value at 30 million could not be established. This is the conclusion of the National Assembly. Firstly, we need to understand how the petroleum product value chain functions in this country. The data available is that up to the time I left, almost 96% or some 97% of the volume of product that is brought into this country and used by you or sold by the OMCs, the oil marketing companies, to you and I, are brought by the international traders. That has been the case before. The new government, during the time of the former president, when Mr. Bazi had exclusivity and was bringing product, and everybody was buying from Mr. Bazi under the company called Eagle. Then came President Barrow. He reformed the sector and allowed, both locals to be able to import product at the border. The border is at the depots. Previously, there was only one depot. Then, because of the opening of the sector, then the president allowed GPS to open another depot, which is the GPS depot next to Gun Petroleum. So the issue is the product that is used here in this country is predominantly brought and owned and stored by the international traders at this depot. So the OMCs just buy it from them and sell it to you and I. So, and you, the end user of this product that is at the depot, you pay for everything. The taxes are paid for by you per liter and collected by the OMCs and remitted to GRA. So the issue of tax is something that the Minister of Finance had adequately addressed. Because prior to this motion, Samba Jallo of the Honorable Dankunku raised a parliamentary question which the Honorable Minister of Finance responded adequately in around March of 2025. But what was this motivation? I don't know. Then afterwards, you then had the same Seni Jawar, who is in the same party, who is a coalition member, came up with this motion. But I think the matter, by now, by their own conclusion, has been settled that nothing could be established.
Yeah, so
and furthermore, the fact of the matter is that that product which was brought in this country is the same way that other international traders have been bringing product in this country, including at present. So this is nothing new. I think some of these issues were brought out of context.
According to the FPAC report,
yes,
they indicated that the cabinet did not, I mean, there was no document that shows that the cabinet actually approved, I mean, this policy.
You see, with all due respect to the committee and the National Assembly, National Assembly has its standing orders. Nobody tells the National Assembly what to do with respect to its internal operations. So who is the National Assembly to come into cabinet?
In this case, the cabinet was right and parliament was wrong.
Of course, 100%. Because cabinet doesn't know how cabinet functions. If you're not a member of cabinet, how can you decide or say that something is fictitious?
Your permanent secretary at the time testified that she was not involved in formulating this policy. One would tend to ask, why was the ministry's chief, accounting and administrative, officer sidelined in this case?
You see, Ali, we have to distinguish the difference between a minister and a ministry. The Petroleum Products Act of 2016 gives the responsibility and the function to the minister, not the permanent secretary. So it is my prerogative to see whether I can decide to ask for advice from the permanent secretary or not. And with all due respect to the permanent secretary, she was new and she doesn't know much about the sector. So, but then with respect to other entities, because this was based on research that was done in consultation with the depots, both the GPS and the GAM Petroleum. They provided me with adequate data to enable me to come with that policy. And this policy was not introducing anything new. It was just bringing in what the functionality of the market so that there was no room for ambiguity between the players in the market. This is exactly what happened. But the permanent secretary, with all due respect to them, did not understand and did not read the law to distinguish the responsibility and the function of the minister and the ministry. And that is...
But when you look at, under the Public Finance Act, yes, it states the permanent secretary is legally responsible for administration and financial oversight. So how do you explain, or how do you exclude that office from a 30 million,
No, Mr. Aliu, the issue is, this is not a $30 million policy. Okay. We have to separate the ownership of the product. The product is not owned by the Gambia government. The Gambia government does not bring product in this country. Products are brought because of the enabling environment that the president has, formulated and has given and security. And at the depot, the product is brought and it is stored there and kept under a storage agreement between the owner of the product and the depot. So, and I am talking not from the Public Finance Act, I'm talking in relation to the Petroleum Products Act of 2016, which gives the minister the function to do what it's supposed to do under Section 4 of this act. And this is something that guides the functionality of the Petroleum Products Act.
So did your policy in any way give Apogee, FZC, that preferential access to Gun Petroleum National Fuel Depot?
No, that is absolute. That's not true. And the document as provided by the depot, did not. My policy was written to all the international international fuel traders, as well as the OMCs and all other entities who were interested in, that is licensed, interested in bringing fuel to the country. Because this policy was based on something that happened. Because when we came in 2022, there was a lot of problem where the OMCs claimed at the time that they were the ones bringing fuel. But that was not correct. That's not true. The data from 2018 up to now, the data is there at both depots. And also, it was not only Apogee FZC. Product was also stored by Apogee FZE at the other depot. Why is it that the parliamentary inquiry did not look into that at GPS, which is owned by Mr. Mazire?
But here we have seen, Honorable, Jar Oil and other licenses, OMCs, as you just tell us, told the parliament that they were repeatedly denied storage while Apogee occupied the depot.
No.
So why was only one company able to operate in practice?
No, that is an operational issue between the depot and whoever has a product. If you have your store, Aliu, today, how you get money is based on what people store in your store. So the depot, if they have somebody that has a product today and they store that product to provide for national security supply for the country, would you wait for somebody that doesn't have the product? No.
So can you name other companies that actually had access to the depot under the policy?
PSTV had access, ADAX had access, Trafigura had access, and they are all international traders. And the facts are there. The data is there.
The parliament also alleges that you interfered in a police investigation that led to the release of Apogee's commercial director, who later fled. Did you interfere? Yes or no? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. And this is something that has been I've been vindicated by the testimony of the former Inspector General of Police.
Who is now the
Minister of Interior. As a sector minister, if a representative of an international trader was arrested and then I found out, I called to say that this is somebody who is a representative of the international trader. And that's where it stopped. So after that, I then wrote to the Minister of Interior then to suggest that if at any time the police are investigating matters relating to energy and other sectors under my responsibility, it will always be good for us to be involved and then they inform us so that we can provide them with any data. That's where it stopped.
So how can they... Isn't that interference?
No, how can it be interference? I have a responsibility. I have a responsibility as a minister of the sector to protect the interests of this country. Because if a international trader who is not domiciled in this country, his representative to facilitate the transaction is arrested and then they stop, what would happen? What would happen? Right now, You have Trafigura, who is sitting offshore and bringing product, and these traders, the OMCs, are dealing with them directly. And they're paying their monies in foreign currency, into a domicile, into a foreign account. But here, you had a trader who was providing facilities to OMCs, because it is the same OMCs that went to the parliament who were buying the product. They were buying the product from Apoji and selling it to you and I.
But because Apoji was giving the monopoly?
No, not that Apoji was giving the monopoly, because Apoji is an international trader, and the data prior to arrival of Apoji indicated that they were not the ones that were bringing the product.
The executive rejected the parliament's recommendation to censor you. Were you politically protected?
The facts protected me. Hello, the facts. And you see, with all due respect to the National Assembly, you know, the National Assembly comprises of different parties, okay? Its politics is partisan to a certain extent. But the facts, and most of these people that went there to the National Assembly, most of them were just making verbal statements. But the facts and the data is there to prove that what they were saying, to a large extent, is not substantiated. And I can tell you that, no, it's the facts that vindicated me, you know, it's the facts that protected me.
If you were to be reassigned again as the Minister of Energy and Petroleum, what is that one thing you will love to fix again?
You know, I'll just do my level best. That's what I'll always continue to do. Try to do what is right, without fear or favor. And what I have done, and I will do it following due process and the law. That is what I will do.
And you were moved from the Ministry of Energy to Tourism and Culture. Many are asking, were you moved because of your competency or because of the controversy surrounding the Russian oil scam?
I think they have to go and ask the president. Those people who are asking have to go and ask the president. I am here to serve. I'm serving under the pleasure of the president, because he has the mandate, he has the constitutional mandate to appoint. So if he decides that I can serve better in another portfolio, and then he asks me or appoint me, I will take it with honor and pleasure.
So what exactly qualifies you to lead, the Ministry of Tourism and Culture?
Leadership quality. I have proven in this country, when I was first appointed as Minister of Trade, I'm not an economist, but go to the Ministry of Trade and ask the traders in the sector, ask the staff. I've been able to make transformational change in that department. Why? Because I respect and use people that have the knowledge in that sector to perform. And this is the same thing that I have done at Pura, and that leadership quality that I have brought to the Ministry of Tourism. And today, go and ask the private sector players. We are transforming the sector. We are re-engineering the sector under the leadership of the private sector. Of course, with the full involvement of the staff at the ministry and all the agencies under the ministry.
You're referring to Minister of Tourism?
Yes, Ministry of Tourism. So that is what I do. I do my best.
So what specific changes have you introduced since taking office?
Oh, we are sanitizing the...
And what result do you think we should point to and say, yes, under Minister Job, this is happening?
No, we are sanitizing the sector, because you see we are guided by certain principles currently. And principle among those principles is when the President Adama Barrow said that we have all that it takes, and that if Cape Verde can do it, why not us? Because Cape Verdes are hitting million visitors, tourists, and we are here in the hundreds, 200s. There is something, and people always say that, oh, Cape Verde came here to learn from us. They learn, now they've overtaken us. Why? Because there is something that they're doing well that we are not doing. And what the president said is that if Cape Verde can do it, why not us? We have to go the extra mile. Now, that extra mile means that we have to be inclusive. We have to approach it in a collaborative manner. And that is what we are doing today to make sure that everybody in this sector, particularly the private sector players, who are the drivers of this sector, are sitting at the table to make sure that whatever we do with respect to policy formulation, regulation, with respect to marketing, they take a critical, path of the process. Because without the private sector, we are nothing, because they're the ones that do the investment. Our role is to facilitate. Our role is not to enforce, but to make sure that they have it easy to be able to invest in this country. And that is what we are trying to do. And
you mentioned, what you're doing in terms of motivating the private sector. But aside from that, can you name us at least 3 policies that you have personally reviewed since your appointment?
We have we are revising the National Tourism Policy and Strategy. This is a very important document which guides what we are doing, and it has basically five policy pillars. Okay, and these policy pillars are related to post-COVID, because, as you know, COVID affected the tourism sector in tourist destinations around the world, and we are trying to, from that, to recover. We also have legislations, institutional restructuring, human resource development, tourism product and services, as well as marketing, because marketing is the key to tourists for any destination. Market development, promotion, and quality assurance, as well as supporting other cross-cutting issues, because tourism is multifaceted. You need agriculture, you need health, etc. And also, out of these 5 policy priorities, we have 20 priority areas. And what we are doing also in this policy revise is to have an institutional framework where now we are going to have a National Tourism Council chaired by the President to give tourism the importance that it needs. Secondly, we've developed a collaborative marketing strategy under what is called a Team Gambia framework initiative, where that again is the private sector. We are not doing anything in terms of marketing activities in this country without the involvement of the private sector, because it is the private sector that makes the deal. And this was based on a situational analysis report, study done by a consultant, by the Johnny. And the result of which is that what we were doing in the past is not giving us the necessary outcome. We are getting output, but we are not getting the necessary outcome. So now today, we are adopting, and we have also developed a 5-year marketing strategy, which is under implementation as we speak, with seed money of almost about $2 million to help promote and market this destination.
You cited, Cape Verde as an example when it comes to tourism. Suddenly, the issue of infrastructure will come to mind. Many will say, the infrastructure in our tourist zones within the country still remains very poor. Who actually should take responsibility for this failure?
All of us. It's not a failure. Okay. I will not call it a failure. It's a development process. We're putting the development blocks. Something was not done. I'll do something. Others will come and continue. But what I can assure you is this. Under the leadership of President Barrow, the government is fully committed to developing the tourism, TDA, and other tourism-related infrastructure.
I call it Mr. Infrastructure.
Yes. Look at what is happening. There is works ongoing with the Minister of Infrastructure will tell you. Look at even at the airport, there is something which is happening. Look at what is happening between KC5, which is at the airport, all the way to... That is an infrastructural development which has facilitated, movement within the transport sector. As we speak, the Kotu Bibi Bridge is under construction. The contractor is mobilized and they are doing a lot of work today. Look at what we have done, the access road behind the Fajara Hotel to provide alternative access. This is all what the president is doing. Additionally, we have realized that the TDA development has not been done in a very coordinated, synchronized manner. So what we are doing also, under our existing projects, we are developing a TDA land use plan. As well as in this year's GT board budget, we're trying to provide for resources to do some beautification of the TDA, as well as some of the projects that we have in terms of waste collection, and all of these things. We have a youth enterprise project, tourism and creative industry funded by the EU. We are doing something to help to sanitize the tourism development area. These are all ongoing works that we are doing.
With all these infrastructural developments happening around the TDA, one will say, our country's tourism is highly seasonal. Why has diversification been discussed for many years, but there's little progress?
No, but now there is progress, because as you may know, we have the Tourism Diversification and Resilience Project, which is a $68 million project. When you say $68 million, people think that the bank has put $68 million in a suitcase
and give it
to the minister to chop. No, it doesn't work like that. All of these funds, it's important to say this, because when you talk about this much money, they will say the government, corruption, the bank, what these banks do, the development financing, including these roads, is that they appraise the project, give a financing agreement, and then the money stays at the bank's bank, the development bank's bank. Okay. And then what is called direct disbursement. You have a consultant, you have a contractor that does the job, and after it is certified, then payments are sent to the bank to disburse directly to the recipient. So in this particular case,
so it's not as if the money is given in bulk to the minister and said,
no. It doesn't. Those are past tense. It's not present tense, and I don't think it will be future tense as well. But it's important that Gambians know this, because when you see they say calculate, all this thing and think that they could have checked case. No, I'm coming. Yeah. So with respect to the tourism diversification and resilience project, this is a very important project, because it has a soft side and it has a hard side. The soft side deals with the issues that will help us to be able to develop policies. Right now, we have done a lot of studies in respect of, tourism statistics, because this is something that we have not been able to, do well in the country. We're doing that today so that the information that we get from the tourist statistics will be able to use it to formulate right policies. Also, we are developing what is called, under the tourism sector, the tourism satellite account, which is an account to help us accurately determine the contribution that the tourism sector makes to the GDP. Now, we have also developed under this project for the diversification demand and destination report, where almost about 100 and something sites within the country were identified and scaled down to 10 with architectural drawings, which we can now present to our funders to fund. We have done jetty studies along the River Gambia so that we can use cruise vessels as a form of diversification. Kunta Kinte, currently, we are at the final stage of the detailed design and the procurement process to protect that island with a new jetty.
Yeah, we were almost losing it.
No, but it's the money. The money is here, and there's a construction going. Also, we are protecting the coastal area. Royal Haskoning is doing the job. They are doing the bathymetric surveys to see what quality of sand can be used to replenish the sand that is being lost. the marketing strategy, as I said earlier, and we are rebranding the destination. And the new brand is currently at cabinet for its approval. So this is something that we are doing, and we believe that with this study, if we progress, we will be able to diversify from the sun, sea, and sand. Also, under this project, we have developed 6 priority projects up to almost feasibility. And these are live aboard cruise, river cruise along the River Gambia. Upper River Boutique Hotel. We are also talking about day and evening river cruise and excursion vessels. We are also talking about day tour vessels. We are talking about the River Gambia, Denton Bridge Gateway, as well as the Kiang West National Park. Because the Kiang West National Park is a gem for this country. And under the Ministry of Environment, we're trying to rewild it so that our tourists that come here will be able to not go to Fatala, but they will be able to go to Kiang West and have a better experience of the country. In terms of culture, we are diversifying nature, tourism, bird watching, and all these things.
Do you count, the Gambian diaspora who visit the country during the winter as tourists?
Of course. You know, under the definition of the World Tourism Organization definition of tourists, anybody who is not resident, even if you are a Gambian, you're not resident in this country, you are in the US and you are a Gambian, as long as when you come over and you spend a night, you are treated as a tourist.
So is there any assessment of the impact they have in terms of economy?
Yeah, but that's what I just said, that, you know, we are in the process of finalizing the improvement of the collection of tourism statistics with the support of the Department of Immigration, as well as the government has also established what is called the Gambia Tourism Statistics Committee under the ministry, and each of the institutions, the Central Bank, the GBOS, you know, GT Board, you know, Parks and Wildlife, NCSC, so that we can collect all these data, and so that we will be able to determine the impact that each of these things can have on the sector.
Okay. Away from that, let's look at culture and creative arts.
Yes.
Honorable. Many artists say the government only remembers culture during festivals.
I think that is a legacy thinking.
Okay.
Because, Aliu, in all fairness, we have recently had a consultation with all the creative industry players at GTHI to map out and ask them to tell us what is it that they want. And that would inform us in our strategies as to how to get things done. So we are moving away, because we believe that the creative industry is the fastest way to get a lot of our youths away from unemployment to creative employment. And already under the YEP project, which I have just talked about, there is a lot that we are doing. This youth empowerment project, tourism and creative industry project, funded by the EU to the tune of 10 million. And this is giving a lot of support to the creative industry, to the MSME, in the tourism sector. We are developing the skills of the music association members. We are also, under this year's budget, buying, musical equipment with stage and everything to help the musicians in the Gambia so that they can have access. Because previously it's always very expensive for them to hire some of these things.
Well, we had one here under the former government, and when there was change of government, no one knows where that musical stage is.
Ask them.
Well, there are growing concerns, within the tourism sector. Many believe, the ministry tend to interfere so much into the day-to-day running of GT board. Can you tell us where your oversight ends and where interference begins?
Aliu, I have a document, because you see, for me, whatever I do, I try to do it with fairness between me and God and the law. We have a legal advice from the Ministry of Justice to define what constitute interference and what constitute oversight. And the Ministry of Justice explained in the legal opinion that where a ministry has oversight responsibility over an agency, executing that oversight responsibility cannot be considered and termed as interference. Because what do you mean? The GT board is owned by the government, and we are the sector ministry. So how can somebody who is under a ministry, you are doing whatever you are doing, and then I have the responsibility to go to the National Assembly to answer for things that you do that I don't know nothing about. So, but if, according to the Ministry of Justice legal opinion, if the actions that the ministry is doing goes beyond the oversight responsibility, then it can be termed as interference. But within the oversight responsibility, that cannot possibly be considered as an interference. And this is something, following receipt of this legal advice, it was given to all the agencies under the ministry, so that we are all on the same wavelength. Because I have a responsibility as a minister. I'm the one that goes to the National Assembly. I'm the one that goes to cabinet. If something, a sector that is under my responsibility, go and do things, I'm the first person that will be called. So we have a responsibility. And remember, all of these people are under the ministry, and they're appointed by the president, and the president appoints me to look at those sectors. And remember, all those sectors have legal frameworks. And as long as what we are doing is within the legal framework, nobody can possibly talk about interference.
Why was Mr. Abubakar Kamara removed as a DG of Duty Board after many years serving in this institution?
Mr. Sise, that is a question you have to go and ask the president.
No, but you are the minister. You must have an idea.
I have absolutely no comment about that.
But do you think it is responsible enough to remove such a high profile in the middle of the season?
If based on the evidence that is before the president, and he feels that this is the best decision for the country, why not? That is his prerogative. I have absolutely no comment. And what we are doing is we are moving forward, and we are sanitizing the institution. And we have somebody in the institution who the president has appointed who is very, very competent.
Honorable, according to multiple sources, that, I mean, the working relations between you and Kamara was very strained. How will you honestly describe that?
I don't think so. Those are just, irrelevant talks. I have an excellent working relationship with all my staff, including Mr. Kamara. I treated Mr. Kamara as a brother, and I went out of my way to go to Mr. Kamara's office to give him advice and guidance, and I can have proof to all of these things. But his actions is for him to deal with, if he follows the law and do what he's supposed to do. And the president can decide tomorrow, Mr. Cisse, to sack me.
Yeah.
I mean, we are serving under the pleasure of the president. You think I'm going to be as a minister until eternity? No. It's up to the president. If the president so decide today or tomorrow, and after all, Abubakar, Mr. Kamara, somebody was there before him, and somebody will be there after him, and after this person who is there, somebody will be there after her. So let's continue.
So what exactly is the new direction of the GT board now with the change of leadership?
They will just follow the law and follow the overarching national development plan of the government, as well as the direction that the ministry gives, as well as their strategic plan. Because at the end of the day, we have to understand that GT board is not a private company. GTHI is not a private company. NCSC is not a private. It is owned wholly and solely by the government of the Gambia. So therefore, they have to align with what the government wants to move this sector forward. I mean, I have said in writing to GT board and all my staff that if ever, and it's in writing, that I give you an instruction which you consider as illegal, don't do it.
Really?
Don't do it. I'm on record. Go and ask all of them. Go and ask Mr. Abubakar, Kamara, or any of those staff. It's in writing to the board members of all the three institutions, as well as, the staff. And I've written an open letter to all the staff of all the sectors under my ministry, that if I give you an instruction which you consider as illegal, don't do it.
So, Honorable, is it true that the ministry is planning either to abandon or rebrand the Smiling Coast of Africa?
No, Mr. Sise.
Yeah.
You see, I told you that we had under this project, which is called the Tourism Diversification and Resilience Project, and has a component called Marketing Strategy and Branding. And this consultant was recruited through an international competitive bidding process, a very experienced guy. He came here and looked at what we are doing in terms of marketing and also the current brand of the Gambia. And the consultant worked with all the stakeholders through a period of 1 year. And there is documents that everybody participated in it. And it is the stakeholders that propose, a brand, a new brand. And the new brand is not throwing out the Smiling.
What is the new brand?
No, I cannot tell you the new brand until
you're going to reveal it.
It is with cabinet. It's up to cabinet, the highest authority of the land, to consider the recommendations of the validated, this is not a recommendation, the validated brand by the stakeholders to decide on whether to adopt the new brand or not. And the new brand is no different from what is existing. But it added certain things too, so that we move away from the decades of sun, sea, and sand to nature and all of that. So when cabinet approves, if they so approve, then we will publish it.
But why tamper with a brand that has for decades defined our country's tourism industry?
No, it's not.
Tourism
it's not
identity.
Tampered. No, nobody is tampering. In engineering, we call re-engineering, or we are retrofitting, with to deal with the current realities. Like I said, you said earlier, Aliu, that we have been stuck in the sun, sea, and sand.
Yeah.
We have the river. Yeah. We have all these things. So this consultant came and worked with the stakeholders in this country to see how we can adapt the nature, the river Gambia, into this brand.
But why
so
a foreign consultant? Why a foreign consultant and not anyone within the sector who better understands the...
Aliu,
okay.
Aliu, you see, listen, this is a World Bank finance project. Okay. And the consultant, for a World Bank finance project, the consultancy is an international competitive bidding process through a request for proposal with terms of reference. And the consultant that won this through a transparent process is a Johnny based in the UK, and they have experts who came here, work with the team, and they have a local partner. They have a local partner who worked with them. I mean, they did not come and propose. No, they work with the team, and it is the stakeholders, including GT board, including the ministry, GTHI, all the private sectors that came together to make suggestions based on the ideas that he put forward. So, in fact, we are not throwing anything. We are retrofitting. We are re-engineering the brand to take care of the nature aspect. And it's just the brand statement. But the brand, I mean, you will see when it is out, if the cabinet so approve, that the image, you know, the picture, that woman, you know, with the thing, that colorful thing, has been enhanced in this new brand. It's not that we are throwing anything. No, how can we throw the smiling coast?
We finally run out of time, Honorable. Are you also considering recalling some of our tourism representatives abroad, or perhaps closing their offices, especially in UK and Germany?
Mr. Aliu, you know, right now, you know that there was a parliamentary inquiry, or you know, a petition by concerned GT board staff.
Yeah.
People who were moved, and the cabinet reviewed the resolution and the report of the National Assembly and came up and accepted most of the report resolutions, and most of those people are going to go back to GT board to their original positions, because that is what is right and what is fair. Now, with respect to the international offices, you see, currently the board, that is a decision for the board to make, not me as a ministry. But the board has a responsibility to look at the justification, whether the cost-benefit, they have to do a cost-benefit analysis. The cost that we are incurring, are we getting commensurate benefit? And that is questionable. Because, yeah, it is questionable. So
we've seen several delegations every now and then traveling from GT board on a marketing mission and all those things.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Now that is changing. We're changing all of that. Because, as I said, we are now guided by a marketing strategy which has been validated, and it is been adopted as a strategic document for the country. Because that is we cannot do things, because, as I said, the situational analysis report of the consultant, based on his review of what we were doing, found out that, you know, as I said, we are getting outputs. Okay. We're not getting outcome. And if you're spending money, you want to get something out of it.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister of Tourism and Culture, Abdullah Diop. He was my guest on the program. Minister, thank you so much for agreeing for the program to have this conversation with you. Quite appreciated. Well, viewers, with that, we bring an end to this week's edition of your weekly State of Affairs. Well, on behalf of the team, we thank you so much for making this platform one of the leading, current affairs program. We are quite grateful for all the constructive feedbacks and everything that has helped save this program. Thank you so much for watching. Do join me next week. Until then, bye-bye from me and the team.